So we are pleased to welcome Joel Sked, who is editor of the Heart Standard, who's going to give us his insight and tee up the game coming this weekend at Tynecastle between Celtic and Heart. So welcome, Joel, to the Huddle Breakdown Extra Time. How are you doing?
Yes, very well. Yourselves?
Excellent. We're good. We're glowing in the glory of yet another great international week coming to an end. Thank God. So we're even more so excited than usual because we have 4 months now of not having to go through this anymore. So this is like the beginning of the long trudge of the middle of the season. So very excited about that.
Yeah, I've come to, just the nature of my job, I've come to enjoy the international break, and you kind of get a wee bit of breathing space. And then I thought, obviously, we've not got the winter break coming up, and I thought, oh, so that means December won't be as intense. And then you look at the number of fixtures in December. I think it'll be the case for both of us, and it's still pretty intense.
Well, I'm going to confess something. I came into this season thinking of Hearts as one of the most fascinating, if not the most fascinating, analytical clubs entering the season for a variety of reasons coming out of last season.
Mm-hmm.
And then this Tony Bloom stuff hit, and that seems like that's a done deal now as far as Jamestown Analytics. So this is a perfect time for us to be talking to you to get a sense of where our Heart's at. Where do you see, someone who's consuming them as a club every day and thinking about them every day. Where do you think the club is, and where do you think the kind of the on pitch product, so to speak, is from a competitive standpoint?
Two very, very big questions. In terms of where Hearts are at the moment, I think and I always try and be professional, but I'm going to just refer to us as we. Where we are at the moment is really interesting, both and fascinating, both on and off the field. So I suppose the big news this week was the confirmation of the agreement with Jamestown Analytics, and then the subsequent confirmation that Tony Bloom is in talks with the club about a potential investment, which could see him become a minority shareholder. Now, the Jamestown have been working in the background. We've had access to what they provide before the confirmation, because it helped with the appointment of Neil Critchley, and it's helped guide the January transfer window coming up. So I think that you've kind of just been waiting for that to be confirmed. And if you take a kind of a measure of the Heart support, I think everyone's really excited, and anyone who I think understands or has any knowledge of what Tony Bloom has done at Brighton and at Royal Union Saint-Gilloise, and then what Jamestown have done, the clubs they've worked with, whether it's both of those I've mentioned, or Como. I think they were with Ipswich before, but then that stopped because Ipswich then were in the same division as Brighton. Understandably, people were thinking that's a really exciting time for the club, and I am very much welcoming it all, just because it's, you look at the success they've had, it just can't. I just can't see any downside to it, and it could open up plenty of new doors for Hearts to explore. And there's always talk about not saying it's going to be the thing that will allow Hearts to think about challenging Celtic and Rangers, but I do think it's something where Hearts are in the Scottish rule pecking order, i.e. in the rung below Celtic and Rangers. We're in a good position to actually try and close the gap, just try and get closer and be more competitive. I think this allows us to do that, because you look at the budgets, Celtic and Rangers compared to Hearts is massive. So you have to do things differently, and that's what I think Jamestown will allow Hearts to do. So that's really exciting. However, so that I think that's the most exciting aspect. And then if you can get Tony Bloom on board, then with his potential insight, his knowledge, and what he can maybe bring from that side of things, again, that's just an extra added bit of excitement. That could be something that that's a process that's kind of ongoing, just because of the Foundation Hearts. I appreciate I'm going on, but there's a lot of complexities to it. The Foundation of Hearts have the majority shareholding in the club, 75.1%, I'm sure it is. So the likelihood is that for Tony Bloom to become a minority shareholder, there have to be a share issue. And then that's a topic of conversation for the AGM with the Foundation of Hearts, and whether they'll be able to pass a resolution that they want. So it just allows the percentage of members to be able to vote it through. So it's a wee bit complex, and I won't get into the details. So yeah, it's really interesting. And then on the field, the team are under new management with Neil Critchley, and he's been in charge for 7 games. 3 games before that was Liam Fox in interim charge, and there's been, certainly under Critchley, there's been steady progress from Stephen Naismith, because it was a really, really bad start to the season. I mean, when I say that, it was the worst in the club's history start to the season. So that just shows how bad it kind of got, and it just almost like a snowball effect. Whereas Critchley's came in, and there's certainly an identity forming at Hearts, and I think fans are appreciative of what they are seeing under the new manager. Sorry for rambling on for so long, but
no, that was I asked 2 big questions, so to summarize it in 5 minutes was actually impressive. Alan, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I mean, just to comment on what you said there, Joel, I actually think it's all to play for Hearts. I think the timing of Bloom coming into Hearts potentially having more of an influence, but certainly Hearts, if they do adopt and take on board the intelligence that the Jamestown Analytics platform and services and data and so forth will give them, and if they act on it intelligently, I think it's all to play for, because what we're seeing is, although I think Celtic are just ever increasing the gap really in terms of financial might over the rest of Scottish football, and that's a big topic as well. And we have this conversation about what is healthy, etc., etc. We're not just sat here going, oh, isn't it great, we've got loads of money. There's lots of things to talk about on that, but that's not why we're here today. I more wanted to focus on the competitive landscape for Hearts, because I think with certainly with the Rangers now being forced by UEFA FSR, UEFA fair play and financial stability.
We hope you enjoyed this free preview from all of us here at the Huddle Breakdown. We know you have options, and we really appreciate you tuning in. To hear the rest of this episode and for much more Huddle Breakdown content, head on over to www.huddlebreakdown.com. We hope you consider subscribing. Thank you.